Everyone, hope everything is going well. Have a few cards here. I got none other than Phil Jackson. Sent it to his Montana address where he stays in the summertime. And yeah, he autographed it. Now, it is his Knicks card. Maybe I should have gotten a card when he was with the Bulls. But still, nonetheless, one of the greatest coaches of all time. And I found this in my room. I didn't realize that someone sent this to me. I found this card pretty cool. I became actually a huge Cubs fan when I was a kid because of this guy, Sammy Sosa. Now, Sammy Sosa is no longer invited to Wrigley Field. He wasn't allowed in 2016 during the World Series. Tom Ricketts said that, hey, look, you're not allowed until you come clean. So it's wild. So all these guys my age who became huge Cubs fans because of him, well, he's not allowed. So it is what it is. Now, I wanted to talk about fake sales, pumping, and how pumping is no longer a conspiracy theory. If you go back to a few years ago, people in the comment section said that I was nuts for talking about like pumping and dumping, that you have no proof and all of that. And what I was doing is I was just using behavioral analysis when I was doing all this. When I looked at card porn, it was looking at patterns, like pattern recognition. And when you look at pattern recognition, whether it's in sports cards or in the real world, you're called a conspiracy theorist. You're called a crackpot. And some people, they don't want to talk to you or associate with you, or they unfollow you on social media because you use this type of analysis. I'm serious. I've had family members like unfollow me on social media, my own personal account, because they don't like what I have to say. Just like over here in sports cards, people don't like what I have to say because I don't come up with receipts in air quotes. I just call it the way that I see it. Now, in terms of pumping, Rattle Pokemon just did a video of Shine150, the convicted felon or ex-convicted felon. Now, I don't know if he's a Fed or if he made his money via private equity, but he was on the phone with Rattle Pokemon, and from what Rattle Pokemon was saying, in my interpretation, it seems that he believed that they were all in on it. And at that time, I did a video and I said that, hey, look, and this was actually giving attribution to John Reckoning. And yes, he's called me out many times. But he made an interesting point that you had that drink, Prime Energy drink or something like that, that Logan Paul was marketing. And it was quite interesting. They had that BBCE, I believe, to be staged and all of that. And that gave so much publicity to Logan Paul. So I thought Hanky Panky was going on based on what I saw of what John Reckoning said. I said, hey, that makes sense. And I think that's what went on. And, knowing following what he's doing, allegedly selling a card for $4 million, he could have, right? And then buying that same Luka card, I think for $3 million on PWCC. I don't know. That it seemed like hanky panky to me, okay? And then fast forward to this past week, Jeff Wilson got busted for pumping, in my opinion, the Star 84 cards. And he clarified to Dan the Card Man that, hey, it was a private sale. Okay, if it was a private sale, why did you say that your card didn't sell? Or you haven't sold your card? When it was already in the registry of John Weiss. Why did you have to do that? Why do you have to go on social media saying it's a $144,000 profit? What's the, why do you have to do that? Because if you have that card, what you could just say is that or if you just sold it and you wanted to say, hey, look, a couple years ago, people mocked me, and now there's interest in that. And I've been, over the past few years, buying and selling these cards. That's all he should have said. He didn't have to say $144,000 profit, because number one, do we know that it's paid? Two, was there hanky panky on the auction? Or three, what's the next auction going to be? Is it going to be less? Is it going to be more? You don't know. You know, these markets are illiquid. It's not like an Apple stock, Nvidia stock, whatever, where there's millions of shares traded on a daily basis. So there is price discovery, accurate price discovery in markets, in the stock market, more so than the collectibles industry, where there's a lot of fraud going on, okay? Now, I thought that Jeff Wilson's response to Dan the Cardman was pretty weak, but there will still be his defenders out there that will be looking the other way. And my other question is, what other PSA 8s, PSA 7s, 6s does Jeff Wilson have? And why was he so enthusiastic about it? Did he just want to prove his haters wrong? Or was there an ulterior motive? Could be both. We won't know. I wanted to also go to a private sale, that Herbert card from a couple years ago. And I said that was nonsense. Who would be paying $1 million for a Herbert card? Okay, granted, he's under Jim Harbaugh, or Jim Harbaugh is coaching him, but that card is not worth that value that at that time. And the value has definitely gone down. Unless he wins 8 Super Bowls, I don't think that's going to happen. You're just looking at a pattern of this, that there are people that mislead others in the hobby. And now you have to ask yourself, what other private sales are fake? You could look at the Logan Paul thing. That seemed fake, like I mentioned. This Star 84 pumping that I believe Jeff Wilson was doing. I don't know if he had other people pumping with him. That seems shady. Herbert card seems shady. And what else is out there? What other sales seem shady to you? Because I did a video and I said during the pandemic, there were so many private sales. You didn't have that many private sales hitting records pre-pandemic, but after the pandemic, you had all sorts of sales during the pandemic and after the pandemic. It's something to think about. And when people announce these private sales, you should question it. And I questioned the sale that Darren Rovell wrote about, and he got mad. And I just said, hey, look, Jesse Craig was the intermediary, and he was with PWCC, and so much hanky-panky went down. It's okay to question these. And just because, there's money that's sent over and maybe proof of delivery in air quotes, can't you just send it back? Can't you just do some sort of trade deal? Can't someone just do a whole lot of things out there? You could wire the money back after someone checks on it. That's why I think there needs to be another method for private sales. That it needs to be in some sort of vault held for a certain amount of time before it gets announced. But it is what it is. I just think that there's a lot of fraud going on. I don't trust these private sales, even though some probably are legit, but it's a red flag to me. And I think with all of this going on in the last few years, we should start questioning more people out there. And especially looking at someone like Jeff Wilson, because Jeff Wilson hangs out with these shady people. I've mentioned Curator, OTS Sports, the whole 9 yards. I could go on and on and on. Anyways, let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.